Hello and welcome back as we continue through our freeCodeCamp responsive web design course. In today's video, we're going to be going over Learn CSS Flexbox by building a photo gallery. So in the last lesson, we did do CSS box model, making that Rothko painting. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at how Flexbox works. And Flexbox helps you design your web pages so that it looks good on any screen. In this course, we'll use Flexbox to build a responsive photo gallery web page. Okay, let's go ahead and start project. This should be a short one. This is what it's going to be looking like once we're completed. And that's pretty cool. Just a bunch of pictures of some kitties. So let's start coding. So I always like doing this review, but if you guys been watching, you guys already know what's going on. We're in this folder that has two files, and one of them is index.html, which is what was open, and we also have styles.css, so two files. You could do this on your desktop. You could create a folder with two files, index.html and styles.css, and then we're going to start step one inside of index.html. Okay, so step one says begin with your standard HTML boilerplate, add a dog type declaration, an HTML element, a head and a body, add the lang attribute to the opening HTML tag with en set as the value. Let's do all that real quick. Dog type HTML declaration, then we want our HTML element, and then all our code will be within the HTML. So we're going to have our head and our body. And then we're going to give that lang attribute to the HTML tag. So here, lang attribute, en, right? Yep, I think that should be it. So we have our boilerplate ready to go. Now we would just start adding stuff into our head and body. So we do pass the first one, 20 more to go. So within your head element, add a meta tag with the name set to viewport and the content set to width equals device width initial scale 1. Also add a meta tag with the char set to UTF-8. So within the head, add a meta tag. So we're in the head here. We're going to add a meta tag. Okay, and we're setting the viewport with the name set to viewport. So name attribute set to viewport, and content we're going to set to, just copy this to make sure we get it exactly right. Copy that, paste. So we should be able to also add a meta tag. Okay, so let's do that. Add a second meta tag in here. Char set UTF-8. Alright, we should be able to run it. And we do pass. Let's continue. So we're still just doing the basic setup right now. Haven't done any CSS. Step 3 says within our head element, add a title element with the text set to photo gallery and the link element to add your styles.css file to the page. So let's add a title first. And remember, it doesn't matter if I add the title here, it's the same thing as long as it's within the head. And we're setting it to photo gallery. Okay, so the title again is what we're going to see show up here in the tab. And still no CSS is happening, but here we're going to link to our CSS file, which they've already included here. If we open it, it's empty, but that's okay. In the next lessons, we'll be adding to it, but first we want to link to that file. And we do that using a link tag. And I believe it's something like href. Href. And I don't remember how to link to it. Is it styles.css, something like that? And I think it also takes, it'll correct us. I'm probably wrong here, but styles.css and then rel style sheet, I believe. And then we're gonna close it. And let's see if we messed up. Oh, we passed. Okay, so this link tag is just linking, saying, hey, in this folder that we're in, where index.html is, look for a file called style.css. That // says here in this folder, there should be a styles.css. And that links to here, and then we can utilize styles.css and start doing some changes. But let's continue. Oh, wait. Okay, I was going to say. Okay, so submit, go to the next one. And so here you see they switched rel with the href, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you put your attribute first or second. Let me make sure got this setting. Yep. Okay. I see a comment there. Hi, only me watching. Please call my name is Mr. Hadi or Mir Hadi. How's it going? Nice having you on here if you're still on here. Let's continue. Add a header element within the body element and assign a class of header to it. So we're adding a header in our body. That's down here. And then what are we doing to the header? We're assigning it a class of header. So we're giving this a class. And we're calling it header. And then inside the header, create an H1. So let's drop this down. Do an H1 with a CSS Flexbox as the text. Okay. Looks lowercase, so Flexbox, photo gallery, and there's some sort of truck behind me. I'm in the car recording this, so sorry if there's some noise in the background, but let's continue. So there's that CSS Flexbox photo gallery, and we did set it. Let's run it. We're passing, continue. 5, below your .header element, create a new div element and assign it a class of gallery. This div will act as a container for the gallery images. Inside the .gallery element, create 9 image elements. So below the header, create a div element. So here's the header. Below it, we're going to create a div element. Exit this thing, give us a little more room. Okay, and in the div, what do they want us to do? Well, first we got to give it a class called gallery. So our div gets a class gallery. I was about to spell that wrong. Okay, so we did that and assign a class gallery. This div will act as a container for the gallery images. Inside the .gallery element, create 9 image element. Okay, let's do that real quick. So we're doing image, which are self-closing, and we're doing that 9 times. So copy. They could have did like 6, but nope, they did 9. Let me just copy that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. I can't count. 9, yeah. Okay. And we should be able to run that. They didn't give us any links. We do pass that. That's great. Continue. So now step 6 tells us, now give each image a source attribute. According to its order in the document, the first image should have a source of here. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. And okay, give each image a source attribute according to its order. So that one has a number 1. Okay, so we're just gonna, I think, change it to all the numbers that are available. So here we're gonna do something like source is assigned that, and then we're gonna do the same thing, I think. Yeah, we're just changing that number, so source, and then adding that, changing it to a number 2, and we do see a different cat. So we could do this to all these and continue doing source, add, and then 3. And then we'll do the same thing here. We'll do source, and I could give us some room here by doing that. And then here we just very simply would do paste 4. And we're just going to continue doing this till we go through 9. So 5. And then source 6. Almost done. 7. And again, if any of this is not making sense and it's your first time joining us, make sure to check out the most recent playlist. Well, check out the playlist that has a thumbnail that looks like the thumbnail for this video. Those are all part of the same course, and they start from the beginning with teaching HTML. That way you kind of know what's going on here with the different elements, like the div elements, the image elements, and the attributes that elements take. All that stuff's talked about already in the previous videos, so just make sure to check those out if you haven't checked them out yet, or if any of this is not making sense, or you can ask a question as well, and I'll try to look over and see. So step 7 says normalize your box model by creating a star selector and setting the box sizing property to border box as the value. Okay, I've never seen that one. So we want a dot select. We're in styles.css here, and we're creating a star selector. So that's going to normalize our box model. I'm not sure what that means, but let's star selector. And we're going to set the box sizing property. So let's continue. We do pass. And step 8 says your images are too big. Create a dot gallery image selector to target them. Give them all width of 100% and a max width of 350 pixels so they shrink as needed but don't get too big. Also, get the height property to 300 pixels to keep your images a uniform size. Okay, so we're outside of the star selector, and now we're going to select dot gallery image. So any image within the dot gallery class, let's check over here to see if we have something like that. We have the gallery class. So any image that's in the gallery class, this is going to apply to. So we're going to select dot gallery image, and we're going to give them all a width, because this will apply to all the images in the gallery. We're doing width of 100%. Okay, and then we're going to do max width 350 pixels. Okay. Also set height to 300 pixels. Alright, so we should be able to check our code. We pass. Let's continue. Remove the margin from your body element. Set the body or set the font family to sans serif and give it a background color of there. So let's do that. So the body element, we're selecting the whole body of our HTML. We're selecting the body section and we're going to give it margin 0. I think it says remove the margin, so margin, I guess, 0. And then font family sans serif. And just everybody watching, remember, a lot of this is just kind of experimenting, and if you can't figure it out, just Googling it, and like you'll get examples on how to do these things, because I really don't memorize a lot of it. I just kind of know, I have an idea of how it should work, and I don't memorize I don't memorize every rule and every selector and properties, all that. That's what we got Google for. Let's run it. We pass. Step 10, align your dot header text in the center. Make the text uppercase using text transform. Property with uppercase as the value. Give it a padding of 32 pixels on all sides. Set the background to this here and the text to that there as the color values. Add a border bottom with 4 pixels solid and that color as the value. So first, we're aligning the dot header. So we haven't selected it yet. So line 11, we're going to select dot header. And then we're going to make the text uppercase in the header by doing text transform with uppercase, and we do see our text uppercase here, and we're going to give it a padding 32 pixels on all sides, so we just keep it like that. And then background, didn't say background color, so let's just see if I could just do background to 0A 0A23. And the text to white, I believe. So let's see. See, I think it's just color. You see, they're not giving us hints. They're not giving us the hints that they were in the beginning, because they're expecting us to hopefully remember all this. So I'm hoping I don't get stuck somewhere, because I'm gonna forget. Then I'm gonna have to Google something, but that's all right. You guys will kind of see the process of doing that. Hi, thank you for making this. No problem, man. I like making these. Not only does it help me kind of like refresh my mind on how a lot of it works, but it's cool to have other people that are into it. Okay, so color white, border bottom, and we're just doing the 4 pixels solid and FDB 347. Cool, and we get that right there. Let's check it. Oh no, header selector should have text align, property set to center. So I forgot the text align. Where does it even tell me to do that? Oh, it's right here. Align your text in the center. See, that's what I'm saying. In the beginning, they were a little bit more explicit and like said do exactly this, and now they're not doing that. Now it's more like they hope that you remember. So we're using text align, and that's going to allow us to center. And we did see it center here. And if we open this, we'll see that it stays centered, which is cool. But yeah, that should pass that. And we are good. Let's continue. Step 11 says Flexbox is one-dimensional CSS layout that can control the way items are spaced out and aligned within a container. To use it, give an element a display property of flex. This will make the element a flex container. Any direct children of a flex container are called flex items. Create .gallery selector and make it a flex container. So now we're going to select the .gallery class which we created. And we're going to give it a display of flex. So now any element within the .gallery class will be a flex item. Okay, let's continue. We pass this one. Step 12 says Flexbox has a main and cross access. The main access is defined by the flex direction property, which has 4 possible values. It could take a row, default, horizontal axis with flex items from left to right, row reverse, horizontal axis with flex items from right to left, column, vertical axis with flex items from top to bottom, column reverse, vertical axis with flex items from bottom to top. Note the axes and directions will be different depending on the text direction. The values shown are for left to right text direction. Try the different values to see how they affect the layout. When you're done, set an explicit flex direction of a row on the gallery element. So they're saying that I can do something like flex direction, and they're telling us to play with it, so we can do something like row, I'm guessing. That's the default, so that's what we're seeing already. So row reverse. That's pretty cool. What else can we do? Column. So we're seeing them like columns. And then column reverse. So reversing them. That's pretty great. So they say when we're done, just give it flex direction of row. Alright. Let's run it. We pass. Continue. 13 tells us the flex wrap property determines how your flex items behave when the flex container is too small. Setting it to wrap will allow the items to wrap to the text row or column, or to the next row or column. No wrap, which is default, will prevent your items from wrapping and shrink them if needed. Make it so your flex item wrap to the next row when they run out of space. That's what I was wondering. So we use something called flex wrap, and that's gonna allow us to do the wrap. And it's gonna bring them down. Yep, that's what I thought. That's pretty cool. So again, we're applying all this to our gallery class, and the gallery class member has all those 9 images inside of it. Okay, so all this is applying to whatever's inside of that .gallery element. Check it. We pass. Continue. 14 says the justify content property determines how the items inside the flex container are positioned along the main axis, affecting their positions and the space around them. Give your gallery selector a justify content property with center as the value. So here we go here. justify content, center. Nice. Looking clean. We get 3, 2, or 1, depending on that size. That's great. And it's just so cool to know this is available when knowing, like, in the early or late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of this, I'm not sure when Flexbox came into being, but I know back in the day it was just a lot harder to make your site responsive, and these tools have allowed anybody to quickly create nice looking websites, like quickly. Step 15, the align items property positions the flex content along the cross axis. In this case, with your flex direction set to row, your cross axis would be vertical. To vertically center your images, give your .gallery selector an align items property with center as the value. So here we're doing align items center. Okay, and it's still looking good. Yep, let's go ahead and keep going. We pass. 16, give your .gallery selector a padding property set to 20 pixels, 10 pixels to create some space around the container. Then give it a max width of 1400 pixels and add a margin of 0 auto to center it. So we're still in gallery. Now we're doing padding. 20 pixels, 10 pixels. Remember, 20 pixels, it's going to be applied to, I think, the top and the bottom, and then the 10 pixels will be applied to the left and the right. Then give it the max width of 14, so let's max width 1400 pixels and add a margin. Okay, so this 1400 pixels, and we're adding a margin, and we're doing 0 auto. All right, I think that should do that. We pass. Let's, I like looking at it after each, just to see how it changes. But okay, submit it. 17 says, notice how some of your images have become distorted. This is because the images have different aspect ratios. Rather than setting each aspect ratio individually, you can use the object fit property to determine how images should behave. Give your .gallery image selector the object fit property and set it to cover. This will tell the image to fill the image container while maintaining aspect ratio, resulting in cropping to fit. So give your gallery image. So we're in gallery image, and we're going to give this object fit property, and we're telling it to cover. And we do see those changes. So the aspect ratio should be looking good. Cool. And let's try to run that. We pass it. Let us continue. Step 18 says your images need some space between them. The gap CSS shorthand property sets the gaps, also known as gutters, between rows and columns. The gap property and its row gap and column gap sub-properties provide this functionality for flex, grid, and multi-column layout. You apply the property to the container element. Give your gallery flex container a gap property with 16 pixels as the value. So gap 16 pixels. And we do see that gap show up right there. Beautiful. Looking much nicer. Let's see what happens if I do this. Oh yeah. That's cool. Okay, let's see if we pass. We do. Continue. Step 19, I think like 2 or 3 more. Smooth out your images a bit by giving the .gallery image selector a border radius property with 10 pixels set as the value. So we're in gallery image selector, and we're going to do border radius, and we're giving it 10 pixels. and we get that nice little rounded edge. Just looks so much cleaner. And we'll check it. We pass 20. The after pseudo element creates an element that is the last child of the selected element. You can use it to add an empty element after the last image. If you give it the same width as the images, it will push the last image to the left when the gallery is in a 2-column layout. Right now, it is in the center because you set justify content center on the flex container. So here's an example. We do dot container with the colon after pseudo selector, and we give it a content blank with 860 pixels. So create a new selector using the after pseudo element on the gallery element. So we're gonna do dot gallery, and we're doing after. I think it's actually right together. Yeah. After. Okay, and then we're gonna do. Actually, want to see it at the very bottom, and I want to do 2 of these. So right now it's centered, but let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm adding the content to an empty string, and with 860 pixels, and let's see what happens. Okay, past that. What did I do wrong? Oh, it should be 350. I was gonna say something looked funny. So 350, and it's here now. Okay, that looks right now, and we did pass. So I think this is the last one, and it says the alt image attribute should describe the image content. Screen readers announce the alternative text in place of images. So this is really important stuff, okay? If the image can't be loaded, the text is presented in place of the image. To complete the project, add an alt attribute to all 9 of the cat images, images to describe them. So again, accessibility is a huge thing that is usually not done, and especially when websites first were created, there was a lot of websites that were made that nobody thought about those with accessibility issues. So the alt attribute is alternative text that will be shown for those with screen readers so that they're able to hear the image described. Sleeping cat. It could be like sleeping brown and white cat. Okay, so whenever you're creating any image, it's important to think about, hey, not everyone can see this image. Someone's going to have a screen reader, and how can I describe this best so that they capture what I'm trying to say with this image? Upside down silly cat. And then, okay, so this is an easy way to wrap it up. This guy looks like a pensive fluffy cat. Looks like he's very pensive, like he's thinking about life and stuff. Got this one. Ooh, what do I call that one? That's gonna be like alt. I kind of don't like that it keeps doing that. I don't know what to say. Sleeping cat under covers. Sleeping cat on back under covers. Okay, let's see. Ooh. White kitty with blue eyes. There's like 2 kittens. I don't know what else. So I'm just gonna go through these because I'm not actually putting this out anywhere. But basically, we just want to give them alt text. Scared looking cat under rug thing. I don't know. What else we got? We got 1, 2. So I'm gonna do orange cat and orange cat and white and black kitty. Something like that. So the point of this one right here is just it's important to give your images alt text for those with screen readers. We did pass it, and I think that's pretty much all of this this course. So in this course we learned about CSS Flexbox, and again it's just really important to I was going to say to give your images alt text, but that wasn't the main point of this. The main point was Flexbox. You give your element, the class flex, you give your element the display property, I believe, right? Let's go into that styles file so we can see what we did. We did our gallery, right? Our gallery, and then all the elements inside there were treated as flex items, and then we're able to grab those gallery images and do stuff with them. But this is where all that magic was happening, okay? Because all those items were that are inside the .gallery class were able to utilize these different properties to make our page look nice, right? See? Yep. So just make sure to read through these, go over them a couple times so you kind of really see what each property does. Practice with your own images, practice creating your own elements and using the different options, and just see and experiment what happens. Once you feel comfortable with that, I'll see you guys in the next lesson. And thanks for joining. Make sure to subscribe to get notifications when I'm live. I'm trying to be more consistent with these, so I'll probably be doing them early in the morning because I wake up, do a little bit of exercise, and I just want to get in this live lessons in. Okay, well, thank you again, and I'll see you guys.